All right, now, did y'all see that countdown?
Countdown.
Okay.
You saw a countdown? I didn't see a countdown. There's a countdown.
I don't know if you can you see that? What's over there, Brian?
See what?
This. It is I stole this from my dad's garage. Am I mirrored? Is my screen mirrored?
You might be mirrored, but it looks like something Mountain Dew. Is that what that is?
No, don't mirror, Kim. Bam! There we go. Hold on.
Mountain Dew, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but why is
it's upside down? That's why. It would be funny. You're just gonna dump it out all over right now. You watch.
Oh man!
Right.
And his dad's studio was never the same again.
Yeah. So I'm finishing up my Diet Dew right now.
Diet Dew. What the hell is the point?
Exactly.
Oh, man, I love Diet Dew.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. So I can't play the theme music, so I'm just like
There we go. Yes. That was exactly what we needed, man. That was it. That was exactly what we needed.
Thank you. All right, folks, welcome to the breakdown. This is Aaron Barker, and I am fired up today. Oops, I shouldn't say that. All right, we are fired up and ready to go today. Thank you all so very much for allowing us to be in your vehicle, office, residence, warehouse, farmhouse, hen house, outhouse, or doghouse, wherever it is you may be listening to the breakdown today. So you'll have to forgive me. I was thinking so where I am right now, as you can see, I'm not in my typical studio because if I were in my typical studio, it would be a safety hazard since it's completely charred and burned to the ground. So I'm over here at my dad's studio, who's so gracious and kind to allow me to broadcast from his studio setup, which is in his basement. So we set it up for him and it's all set up for him to go on to be a guest on the show like he was last year when Erica was out. So I came here thinking, I was like, in my scattered brain, which we'll talk about in just a minute, I came here thinking everything was turnkey, but realized when I got here, everything was not turnkey. And it's not his fault or anything. It was totally my fault. I wasn't thinking. So, but anyway, so you can join us by going to breakdradio.com and leaving your sound off by clicking on the mic in the bottom right-hand corner. You can also join us on Rumble and on Facebook as well, and X. We are broadcasting over there on Brian's X, and I think Erica's X also, which, by the way, the lovely misinformation, Erica Sauer. Thank you so much for joining me today, Erica.
Good morning.
And the bearded pastor, Bryan Jackson.
What's up,
welcome,
folks?
Brian. All right, so now I say thanks for joining me, but y'all are just here because you're part of the show. Erica thought she was fired because I messaged Brian sometime earlier this week thinking that I was messaging the group chat and told Brian that we were going live. He was like, "Hey, you planning on going live Saturday?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going live." And then Erica messages us last night. She's like, "Why is somebody telling me we're going live?" And I was like, because we are.
Because we are, if you're available.
Nothing like getting inside company information from a third source.
I was like, man, I'm like, I might be fired. Maybe I'm not supposed to know we're going live tomorrow.
Well, we needed to talk to you about that, Erica.
Yeah, we wanted to bring that up to you, by the way, ma'am. But a lot of stuff. So those of you who are okay, yeah. So all right, hold on for me just a second. All right, just dealing with some technical stuff.
So, okay, Brian, how was your week? Well, he's dealing with technical stuff.
My week was fantastic. Still on the mend and loving every minute of it. And
everything's going good.
Everything's going really well. When I checked into the doctors a couple of weeks ago, it was actually the Monday after we got off the air. No, it was the following Monday. Pardon me. I'm down 42 pounds in just a couple of weeks, and off all of my almost all my medication. There's a couple of small things that I'm still working on, but yeah.
How do you feel different?
Everybody always asks that question. They're like, well, you lost some weight. Do you feel better? I'm like, I didn't feel bad to begin with.
But you got to be noticing difference in like energy levels, or just your breathing's got to be better.
Yeah, either you're also able to you're able to fit through doors. I mean, that's a big one.
Fitting through the door. I will say that I do see
you don't have to turn sideways to go into the bathroom.
Just because your house burned down, Aaron, doesn't mean I'm going to give you a pass, you jerk. No.
Oh my gosh.
So I've never really had any problem fitting anywhere specifically, but I will say that
I can't even touch that comment.
I have noticed that I've been sleeping a lot better. Breathing, the breathing issue hasn't gone away yet, but they're starting to think that the breathing issue might be something else. Now, granted, the weight didn't help. I understand that. I'm not dumb enough to say that it did. That was not the issue, but that was not I don't think that was the cause of the. So some of you guys may know. After I first moved down here, I was in the hospital for about 14, 18 days, something like that, because I had blood clots in my lungs. And after that happened, that's when my breathing really got horrible. Like I can't walk to the mailbox hardly without, almost wanting to pass out. So I went through this multiple reiterations about what that looks like. And actually, last Sunday we had a fundraiser for our church. By the way, shout out to everybody in the Paducah and Western Kentucky area who helped us. We raised almost $5,000 for our church with catfish. It was amazing. Even though I couldn't eat it, but I went to Sam's to get some coleslaw, and just walking through Sam's, I felt like I was going to pass out. So my strength levels are really low right now. My endurance levels are really low right now. Of course, I'm only taking in about 500 calories a day because that's all I can take in. But they did move me over to the pureed diet, which, praise Jesus, I am eating green beans, and I love green beans, and they're great protein.
Pureed.
Well, they say they have to be pureed. They told us as long as we could mash it against the roof of our mouth, it's okay. So it just has to be
like an old person without teeth. Like,
right. It just has to be. It has to be really, really soft. So, like for instance, everybody knows the one vegetable you can identify after you eat it is corn. So I can't have any corn products because it just doesn't digest well.
Oh boy!
So
wow. Okay, that's
So you gotta go with this.
That reminds me of that SNL sketch with when Phil Hartman played Frank Sinatra. He's like, I got bigger chunks of corn in my stool
than you. Yeah.
And Curtis said, "Oh, you mean the Biden diet?" Thank you, Curtis. You called me an old man. I do want to say that.
Just really quick, I can't see who the comment was from anymore, but there was someone asking if we were not going to be on Mojo today, and that is correct.
We're not on the streaming. Yeah, we're not on the streaming. So I apologize to everybody for that. As I was saying at the beginning, so I came over here and my mind, because my mind's been a little bit frazzled over the past couple of weeks. So today will mark 2 weeks from the date that our house burned down. And there's a lot of stuff about that we can talk about as far as how the Lord was gracious and kind to getting us out of there when he did. But so all of my studio equipment's gone. So all of both my Macs, my keyboard, or my MacBook that I was using, and everything that was, just imagine all the stuff that you have not being there anymore. Like it just disappeared, like it vanished. And there's really
all your files, all your everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I mean, like, I don't know if people want to be bored with the details, but I will say this, starting, because I am going to bore you with details because we got 2 hours to fill. And since Erica just found out yesterday we were going live, she didn't do any show prep. So I'm just going to go with what I know. All right. So first off, huge thank you.
Not to throw you under the bus at all, Erica. That was hey, not at all.
I mean, listen, normally it would be, Erica, why don't you check your messages? Because people complain that it does take me days to look at stuff. And I have like 700 unread text messages. But he legitimately did not text me
that was
this information.
Yeah, that was all on me,
Wasn't
folks.
me.
I will take that responsibility on myself. And also today that this is going to be kind of a free form today because we're going to go from now until we actually don't have any time restraints because we're not on the Crusade channel, unfortunately, because I wasn't able to get connected there. We're not on Mojo, so I wasn't able to get connected there. So we're actually just live on we're just live streaming right now. So we're hanging out and just going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. So it's still free form. You can still join us, though, by leaving your sound off, going over to breaktradio.com, clicking on the mic in the bottom right-hand corner. Now, I will not only be talking about the fire that we had, we'll be talking about other stuff as well. But just because some people have been asking and such, the family is working through and processing things as well as to be expected. The fire was a total loss. We did lose 99% of all of our stuff, including 3 dogs. We lost my father-in-law. For those of you who don't know, we moved in with my father-in-law after my mother-in-law passed away. And he had 2 King Charles Spaniels, Charlie and Roy, we called him Chuck, but Charlie and Royal were their names. Beautiful dogs, sweet as can be. And we lost our golden retriever, Ginger, whom you all have met a couple of times on the show here during our after shows. She was unfortunately they were in the fire. Nobody else was. They didn't get burned up. That was a real. I know it's kind of weird. They still unfortunately perished, but they didn't burn up. They just pretty much just passed out. And that's all I got to say about that. The everything else though was, except for the garage where we had some stuff there. We had some Christmas decorations. We had some dishes. We had some baby clothes because when we moved in, we used that as our primary storage area. One side of the garage. 99% of all of our possessions are gone. So all of our clothes, shoes, socks, underwear, toothbrush, toothpaste, shampoo, everything from fingernail clippers all the way up to televisions and desks, all the way up to or all the way down to spatulas in the kitchen. Everything was gone. So we found that out. We were able to get into the house. We recovered some childhood toys from my girls, and we recovered my mother-in-law's ashes were there also, and we were able to recover those. And those were very important for us to gather. We got those out. My mother-in-law's Bible was just had some severe smoke damage to it, which is being cleaned. But my wife has a home-based business, and thousands of dollars in inventory is gone. She lost all of that. I had over 1,000 books, and I was able to pull maybe 5 books out, and 5 Bibles. One was my mother-in-law's, which is, thank goodness, was a pretty cool story. But whatever the fire didn't destroy, the water and the smoke did. So like I pulled up one of my favorite Bibles, and there's a guy, by the way, I don't know if he's listening today or not. His name's Bryan Garrett. I was talking about this study Bible that I had. My parents bought me back in 2002. It's called the Dake Annotated Reference Bible. And I kept thinking about that Bible, and I was like, I'd like to find it. And I found 2 versions of it that I had. They're extremely smoke damaged. One was so waterlogged that when you squeezed it, water would literally pour out like a stream. And I made a comment on a Bible discussion board that I'm on Facebook, and this guy, Bryan Garrett, sent me. This is an $80 Bible, and he was like, "Hey, it's got some markings in it and some highlights in it." He's like, "But it's sitting on my shelf, and I can send it to you. Just give me your address." Didn't charge me for shipping or anything like that, and he sent me this study Bible right there. So it's amazing, and but this stuff's been happening. Like my family, my sister-in-law lives in Florida. One of my sisters-in-law lives in Florida. She set up a GoFundMe account, and people have been donating to that. We've had people we don't even know. My aunt and uncle were told us to come stay with them, so we stayed with them for about a week. We had people literally knocking on the door. We didn't even know who they were, dropping off snacks, dropping off shoes, dropping off clothing. Neighbors we've never met, people whom we've never names we would not know, donating, giving clothes to my daughters and to my wife and myself. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's hard to believe in total depravity and original sin when people aren't acting totally depraved, because they were being pretty awesome, man. I mean, just the outpouring of love and support and concern. There's a local restaurant by the name of Bourbon House Pizza on Tuesday.
Pizza.
Oh, they're amazing.
Gosh.
They're actually doing a fundraiser for our family, because we lost, as mentioned, everything. The family next door to us, their house caught on fire. They had smoke damage all throughout, and they had to gut the kitchen. It's probably looking at 6 to 9 months for repair. And Bourbon House Pizza is doing a fundraiser on Tuesday where they're doing a 60-40 split. 60% of the profits go to our family, 40% of the profits go to their family. I mean, it's incredible. People have set up GoFundMe accounts independently. People are sending my wife that are in her upline and downline. People are sending her product so that she can, and sending her business supplies so she can get back on her feet and start doing her business again. Churches have reached out. My daughter's school, people have given her meals. They've given her, this one girl told her she's going to take care of her lunch the rest of the school year. They've given her uniforms. They've given her clothes. I mean, it's just absolutely been amazing. So, and then that's
we
just
have a lot of ladies that watch. I mean, I know you're trying to be non-specific, but if we could post something somewhere with Allison's business, anybody who's interested can purchase, right, or support. Can they do that? I mean,
absolutely.
I don't know if you guys know what she does, but she's got this great nail business. They do these. I'm not going to be good at describing it, but it's good for the ladies. So if we post it, if you're into it,
and if you guys
incredible.
are anywhere near the Northern Kentucky area, you need to get out to Bourbon House Pizza. I've had their pizza. Now I will probably never be able to eat their pizza again for at least another year or so, because it is absolutely incredible. Though they have this deep dish pizza that takes about an hour to cook. And if I'm lying, I'm telling you, well, I'm not lying. I'm not lying. But it's got to be at least an inch and a half thick, and it is just stuffed with all kinds of good stuff. I mean, it reminds me, if you go back to the old days. Remember when Pizza Hut came out with the Priazzo, and it was like this pizza pie thing that was years ago. That's kind of like where they were, what they do. But they've got some of the best food. It's all homemade. It's all home cooked.
Man, Bryan, you could tell you're hungry.
Actually, no, time out. Actually, I'm not hungry, dude. You don't understand. The other day I had some green beans, and it was the first time I had any like real flavor in like 4 weeks, and I thought I was in heaven, dude. I mean, that was just, I kept wanting to do the old song from the Green Mile. Heaven, I'm in heaven. No, but it was
that's just for green beans.
Yeah, it was just the green beans, right? Not to mention the mashed potatoes and stuff. I mean, it was no, really. But if you're anywhere close, I mean, 45 minutes to an hour away is totally worth the drive. I think you all would really love it. This place is family owned, and it's real easy to get to. Maybe if we can think about it in a little while, I'll post the address to it as well. But I'm telling you what, guys, it's fantastic, and plus, as you can tell, it's going to help a great cause. Aaron and his family have been through a lot, and I was a little leery about sharing the GoFundMe account, because I know Aaron and his family are very private about their stuff. But when I saw his sister-in-law did it, I'm like, well, he can't disown her. So, and since I'm his best friend, he can't disown me. So I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways. But
I just went with Bryan did it, so I figured it was okay because he's a pastor.
It's okay if he can't fire he could fire the pastor, I guess, but I don't think he will. But and then I had a chance. A lot of you folks are also on the Off Track Syndicate, so we shared on the Off Track Syndicate and picked up some really big speed there too. So, we've got a great family of listeners and a great family of friends that have helped out. And Aaron, I just want to say I have been absolutely impressed. There's people that I'm seeing comment on the show and on the show links on Facebook and on Rumble that I've never even known listened. and they're coming out of the woodwork going, "Where are you guys at? We love you guys." Where, so brother,
I
you're
would
making a
think
big
also
impact.
Watson, Brad, like Brad on the Daily Mojo definitely mentioned your GoFundMe. I heard Watson talk about it a couple times. Yeah, I think people have really been trying to raise some awareness out there, but mostly everyone is just wanting to make sure that you guys are okay.
Yeah, and that was, and we really appreciate that. We had people that were reaching out and asking how things are going. Of course, I mean it's been unbelievable. The family has gotten closer, and I'm including, when I say my family, I'm talking about I don't like saying, well, Allison's side of the family and my side of the family, because we're all family. Like my aunt and uncle,
Right.
Brought my entire family into their home, and they didn't. We've been staying with them for a period of time. My sisters-in-law, my father-in-law were just, I mean, like, we've been married. My wife and I have been together since 1999. And so we've been together a long time, and it's just, we're family. The family's gotten closer together, praying, obviously, and trusting the Lord, drawing closer to one another as we draw closer to Christ throughout this. And we don't know the reason. That's the thing. And before I get too far off into that, I thank you so much to Brad and to Watson and to all the Mojo listeners and anybody who's reached out to check on us. Bryan, you immediately got onto Off Track that on the 18th and told them about that. And then misinformation, Erica Sauer was sharing the information as well, telling everybody about it too. And so I appreciate I appreciate the family of Mojo supporters, the Crusade channel as well, and how they jumped on stuff and we're helping out. I mean, it's just been amazing, and we can feel the love from the community. And when I say the community, I mean like our community of radio. It's kind of hard to call them listeners because they were Mojo listeners, not Breakdown listeners. But the family that I've been able to make while I've been broadcasting on Mojo has just been absolutely incredible. And we're so blessed to be a part of this. Our church, like an elder at our church, immediately reached out to us and was like, "Hey, we want to help you out. Where can we meet so I can help you out?" And people have offered to come over and go through the house with us, which I felt bad. I didn't want to ask anybody to go in the house because it was a wrecking zone. It was a wreck. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much stuff going through my mind. We are just completely blown away by everybody's love and prayer and concern, and I could give you details on the day as well, just like if y'all are interested, because the way that the Lord constructed and worked everything out to make sure that nobody was in the house when this happened is just absolutely incredible. So if y'all want to hear about that, I can tell you.
I would love to hear about it, because I mean, we're very informal right now. And I mean, this is a testimony, Aaron, because, I honestly, when you first sent the message to me, and for those of you that know Aaron, he's got kind of a rough sense of humor sometimes, and it's hard to tell when he's joking and when he's not. He's like, "Yeah, our house is burned down." I'm like, "Yeah, right, whatever."
Rough? Is that what we're calling it now?
Yeah,
rough sense of humor.
Crass,
Literally, the
rough,
message that came into us was like, "Hey guys, our house just burned
yeah, and
down."
I thought he was being stupid. Okay, whatever. Or maybe the kitchen caught on fire or something. I figured something stupid like that. And then, like, he sent me a picture and the house is just not there. And I'm like, whoa, right. What the heck? So, yeah, yeah, right, Timmy. Rough is is an understatement to say the least.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible, Aaron. So if you have some type of good that you could share, or even, I think people would like to hear it.
Yeah, tell the story, man. Tell the story.
I will. And what I'm doing right now while y'all are talking, I'm actually going to upload into, so don't freak out if you all see this in our team chat, because I didn't plan on doing this, but I'll upload and play a video of somebody that lived on our street that was able to actually capture the fire and then some pictures of the aftermath of it. So my So Michaela, my oldest daughter, she's at college right now. She lives away from us, and she's about an hour and a half away. And so she was down at college. We were in my father-in-law actually was in Florida, and he was in Florida and was for about a week because he was actually going on a cruise, and he was leaving the 18th, and so I was there in the house Saturday, of course, doing my radio show. Well, if we back up to Tuesday of that week, Allison went to Bree, my youngest daughter, whom you all have seen on the show before. She went to Bree's school to pick Bree up because she was going to take Bree to a dentist appointment. Well, when she walked in, the administrator started talking to her, or she asked her how Bree was doing that year. Well, Allison, typically she's a quiet person, kind of reserved, but she just started talking about how Bree was so excited about going to prom and how she couldn't wait to go to prom. Well, the principal of the school came out and said, "Hey," walked out and kind of, I don't want to say butted into the conversation, but got into the conversation. Was like, "You need to go to Kenwood Mall and do some prom dress shopping there because that's where you find all the great dresses." And Allison was like, "Okay, well, that's great." First, she, as mentioned, she made the dentist appointment. She had to go pick her up. She never really talks to a lot of people there. She just usually, if the rare times that she does pick her up early, she's just in and out. And this conversation started, and they were like, "Hey, go to Kenwood Mall." Now, if for those of you who aren't in this area, Kenwood Mall is about 35, maybe 40 miles from where we live. It's up in Cincinnati.
So a trip to the grocery store in Western Kentucky.
Yeah. And that's what they call going into town.
Yeah.
And maybe it's about 25, 30 miles, something like that. But it's a good trip. It's about a 45-minute trip. And so Allison was like, okay, well, she told Bree. Well, Bree was excited. So they wanted to go to Kenwood Mall that Saturday to go shopping for prom dresses. It's 35 minutes away. Allison just messaged on the Facebook message or the chat. So she plans on going away Saturday. So Michaela's already at school. My father-in-law is already in Florida. Allison gets up Saturday while I'm before I do my show. She's not feeling the best. She's got a headache. She doesn't really want to go, but she decides, hey, Bree wants to go prom shopping. This is the only time. Let's go do this. So she and Bree hop in the car and leave the house about 11:30. Well, if you remember, Bryan, you just had your surgery, so you were a little weak that week, and I was at the end of the show prep, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and call it. So we ended the show around 11:15 or so. It was not a very long after show. So so we ended the show. I said my goodbyes to Allison and Bree because they were leaving, and I went downstairs and I was going to work on my radio show, do some edits and things like that. But then I was like, you know what? I had told Allison before we moved into the house, I said, once we get in and start to get settled, I own probably owned over 1,000 books. And so I decided
you had to have more than that, brother. I've seen your library.
So I pared them down. And I told Allison, I said, once we get in the house, I'll pare them down more and get rid of more books. So true to my word, about a week before I started doing that. So downstairs where I did my radio show, was surrounded by about, probably 500-600 books. And I needed to go through those. And I had a stack. I had 2 postal totes in a box. And I was like, you know what? I need the space so I can continue to work down here. I think I'm going to go to Half Price Books, turn these books in, get some money for it, and then come back. So I got all that loaded up, got everything ready to go. And this is, part of the story that really kind of sucks. But I went upstairs, I nuked some food, and I ate it real quick. And I was like, I'm still hungry. So I was like, I'm going to get one of my favorite snacks, which is a peanut butter and some banana. So a banana with some peanut butter on it. And the way I eat it, I'm a man. So I'm standing in the kitchen at the island, and I have an open jar of peanut butter, and I break off a piece of banana, and I scoop a big spoonful and slop it on that piece of banana, and just like, that's how I do stuff, right? Well, Ginger's favorite treat was peanut butter. And it doesn't matter where she was in that house or anywhere, if I cracked open that peanut butter jar, you heard her coming. So I open up the peanut butter jar, and she runs over and is sitting next to the island in the kitchen. So I was like, all right. So I took a bite of peanut butter, and then I with my banana, and then I broke off and gave her a piece of peanut butter with banana, and we shared a peanut butter banana snack. And then I loaded up my books and I left. And I looked at my watch as I'm sitting in the driveway, and I'm like, wow, it's 1:13. I'm usually still doing my show or just getting done or still working. So I pull away, go to Half Price Books, maybe about 4 or 5 miles away. And I'm turning my books, standing there looking around at some stuff. And about 30 minutes later, my sister-in-law calls me from Florida. The neighbor sees the house on fire and calls her because he doesn't have my number. So he calls her, calls my father-in-law, and my sister-in-law calls me and says, hey, your house is on fire. So I took off running out of Half Price Books, and I was driving like a maniac, not obeying traffic laws. Well, as I'm driving, I'm still about 3 miles away from the house, and I get behind a fire truck. And I'm like, my goodness, this is going to my house, to our house. And then I look up and I see smoke miles away. I see smoke rising up from our community. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that's our house. And I'm continuing to pray. And I pull up, and lo and behold, that's our house. And fire trucks, 2 fire trucks are there already. Ambulances are there. Police officers are there. The fire had been going for about maybe 15 minutes at that time. And it was already through the front of the house. And I just, we contacted Allison. Everybody knew. So Allison and Bree were on their way back from Kenwood. And I'm standing there in the street and watching our house burn from room to room, just like from the dining room to the foyer to the guest bedroom to my daughter's room. I just watch it just burn. And it was surreal. It was the freakiest thing in the world.
Aaron, how hard was it for you not to run back in?
Well, when I got there, I knew nobody was home, and I thought that somebody said that the dogs were out. One of the neighbors actually tried to get the dogs out of the house. So on my trip back, I was under the impression that the dogs were out of the house. So I'm getting there, and the police officer asked me my name, who the homeowner is, all that stuff. And then he was like, is there anybody in the house? I said, no, there's nobody in the house, but somebody has our dogs. I need to find our dogs. And they were like, we don't know. We had a neighbor, blah, blah, blah. So at that time, I'm thinking that the dogs are safe. So I'm like, okay, our possessions are going up in smoke, but everybody's safe. Well, then I find out a few minutes later that the dogs actually were not out. And then at that point, it was like nothing that I could do, nothing I could do. So here's this is the first report of the fire. It started in the back room. This has no sound because there's some, but this is the first video of the fire. That's the side of the house. As you can see there, the back room is consumed. And then,
so it's quite possible the fire was smoldering before you ever left the house.
We believe that wherever the fire started, we do believe that that it was. We think it was going before I left. And here's the other footage of the house. This is the back. The back, we had a sunroom on the back. My father-in-law, I'm sorry, not we, but my father-in-law had a sunroom on the back. It was an office. It was an additional room. And then below that was a patio. And where that patio is on the bottom, this section right here, if you can see my mouse, this section right there is the external entrance or exit from the downstairs, which is where our kind of little apartment area was. And about 10 feet, maybe 12 feet inside there is where I did my radio show. where I did that every Saturday. So right around this area right there. The back room was torched, and then the patio below caught on fire, and then this room collapsed down into that. So here's about a 37-second video. They aren't even there yet, by the way. They're not
the fire department's not even there yet.
Fire department wasn't there yet.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's surreal. It's really unreal.
It is. And I'll tell you what, I noticed this as well, because we went down Sunday to see Michaela, and she was she told me, she was like, hey, she's like, I almost came home this weekend, but I didn't because I had so much work I had to do. And I told her I was glad that she didn't. Usually she sleeps in on, she goes to bed earlier through the week. She gets up early so she can get to all of her classes and do that stuff. But the weekend, man, that girl can sleep like a champ. I mean, like, she is, once she's committed, she's in bed and she will stay in bed. So it has happened before. I'm usually, if I've had to leave to go to the store or something like that on a Saturday, I'll go up to her room and I'll be like, hey, I'm leaving. I just wanted to wake you up, tell you I love you, and I'm leaving. Now, as has been the case in the past, just go up, wake her up, and she'll be like, okay. And then she'll roll over and get on TikTok or whatever and hang out in her room on TikTok. If you can see this, if you're watching it, you can only be watching this right now. As you can see right here, the fire is in the back of the house, but let me see if I can find it right here. You can watch in this area up here, that flame that just shot up right there.
Yeah.
See that? That's Michaela's room.
Oh, wow.
That's where her room was. Had Michaela been there, had she decided that weekend to come home and had been there in the house, I mean, I can't, I got to stop myself every time I bring it up. That's as far as I can get in the story. But the Lord kept Michaela away. The Lord made sure my father-in-law, Steve, was away. The Lord made sure that Bree and Allison were miles away. And the Lord made sure that my books, which have been a nuisance to many people over the years,
Amen.
got me out of the house.
I'm sorry.
Got me out of the house. And it's just been incredible to think about how good God was to get us out of there. That was kind of it was pretty crazy. It was pretty, and the fire department were incredible. They did a great job. At that point, it was just containing the fire and making sure nobody else was hurt. So,
you know, Aaron, I was sitting here talking to my family last night, and the reality hit me of all the things that I've got stashed around the house, of things from my dad and things from my mom and photos, and I could not. I mean, it was gut wrenching to think what would happen if that happened here. I just horrible. I have no idea what you've gone through, and I wouldn't even want to even try to think about what it is. But man, I'm telling you, the fact that you're sitting here this week is a testimony to your strength and your commitment to the breakdown.
The Lord is good, and He's been merciful to us. I mean, we had a lot of stuff in there that was sentimental, of course, and I have to remove from this the dogs, because that's the most devastating part for all of us.
Oh, I'm sure. I can't even imagine. I don't have any pets, so I mean, at least none that I know of. So, but I can't imagine what you would, I mean, gosh, I know every Saturday morning when Ginger would come on, I'm thinking to myself, okay, here comes the dog, whatever, yeah, big dog, and now I'm like, dear God, why isn't Ginger on today? It's stupid stuff like that. I mean, that's just, to me, that's that's hard. I can't even imagine what that would be like.
Yeah. Well, it is, and I don't want to take any credit for things that are happening because it's all the strength of the Lord that's doing this. Allison and the family, and I say Allison, she commented, but the family thinks that there was some kind of accelerated explosion, something that happened that was that caused, because it was such a fast and such a furious fire.
Was that all your bomb making material, or was that?
Well, I am. According to the government, I am a homegrown terrorist.
Well, yes, that's what I mean. Yeah,
yeah. I had the anarchist cookbook, and I was working through that, just crunching up some Sudafed and making some things like that's actually what it was. It was just a bunch of.
It was your meth lab in the back. I get it. I understand. I get it.
Yeah,
it's hard not to speculate. All right, it's human nature to speculate. I just thank God, just thank God.
Yeah, it's so there's some people commenting as well. So Allison's comments, I'll read those here. We believe it exploded, not slow fire, but fast and furious. Then there was she said the window of time that I was gone. She said the window of time too. You were going to go back. He made sure it happened at the perfect time. That's true, because I was just going to Half Price Books and then going right back to the house. I had no other plans to do anything else, because I had plans at the house of stuff I wanted to get done. Like, I had my personal to-do list. Now the good thing about it is, like, we don't have to worry about decluttering anything. We don't have to worry about like cleaning out the garage or the storage area, because it's pretty much, it's all been done for us.
Yeah.
We decided we were going to have a fire sale and get rid of absolutely everything.
I mean, you guys, Aaron has this sign that Bryan had made for the breakdown, and we never put it up, right? Like, you never actually had put it up yet.
No,
but it was like this wooden sign that he had, and Aaron's comment on showing it to us in the chat as it's half burned, he's like, look how much character it has now. I'm like, okay, I can't tell if this is healthy, what he's saying, or is he downright losing it? I'm not sure. Bryan, can you give me some help here? What's going on?
I tell you, I mean, like it was like, yeah, there was that sign that he had got me this one time with a scripture on it years ago. And this was found in a box. I can show you this here. This was found in a box, and it's Psalm 16:8. Hold on a second. And it says, I have set the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand, I will not be shaken. I mean, that's some character right there on that sign, man. I mean, it's warped. The side of it's cracked.
And the right side of it is burned, but it couldn't quite get it, could it?
Nope, couldn't get it. But yeah, that was one of the things. It was, and on top of all of this, the kindness of everybody has just been incredible. I mean, and I'm sure Allison has a lot more comments that she can make too. Love you too, Mark. Thank you very much. Yeah, Allison heard a hissing sound that she had never heard that morning. It was kind of like she suspects it was gas. And so does the family. I mean, like, watching the footage and seeing what happened, because it was so rapid. It was so rapid. And Steve says here, he says, this is my father-in-law. Any other Saturday, everyone would have been home. Praise God for his mercy. And he's absolutely right. I can tell you, he would have been sitting right above me upstairs watching the show. Allison would have been sitting right across the room from him watching the show. The girls would have been asleep in their rooms right upstairs. And it would have been.
When I leave here on Saturdays, even if I am able to stay for the whole after drive or overdrive, even if I stay for that, my daughter's still usually in a coma in her room. Like,
yeah,
I go to the grocery store and I'm on Central Time. So when we're done, even if we do an extra hour, it's only 11.
Yeah, right.
And
right.
I'm ready to go. I got things to do, and I normally am leaving here with her and the animals half passed out from, they're not awake.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she sleeps like she's in a coma. I know exactly. 19. And I mean, we make jokes. I think I've actually said to my daughter, that house could be burning down around you and you wouldn't even know it. I think I've said that.
Well, yeah, that honestly, I truly believe, that my girls sleep like that too. Sometimes I go in to wake Bree up, and well, both of them up, and I'm like, you ever seen What About Bob? Where you're like,
Yes.
he's like shaking him and jumping on the bed, and the
Right.
girls are like, they're not even budging,
They're
you
like,
know?
why?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just incredibly thankful, and I think it does give you a sense of on any other given Saturday with us sitting here, we tend to talk about what the hell is wrong with people and what
Yeah.
happened to all the goodness and why can't people be kind, and we're supposed to be focusing on the Lord and his presence and how he works, and you're supposed to be opening your heart, and at least you maybe you have to find out the hard way that there are still some really good people out there.
Yeah, it's been incredible that on that, and what else? There's something else I was going to say. I can't remember what I was going to say. Um, let's see here. I'll go ahead here. Allison. Just by the way, this is a little inside thing. Check the comments, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So over in the comments on Rumble, Space Hippie Audrey. She says, that's heartbreaking to watch. Talking about the video. I have no words other than I'm so grateful y'all are okay, or you're all okay. She doesn't say y'all, I guess. I'm so sorry about the fur babies. I love you guys. We love you too, Audrey. Thank you so much. And Kathy says, this is so awful. While I'm glad you all are okay physically, I'm equally sad for your loss of pets and belongings. Yeah, I'm that is the only thing that is, and when I say the only thing, I mean, like, we're heartbroken because my mother-in-law passed, and there was a lot of things there. There were pictures, there was still, clothing, there was still things that we had held on to that were hers, and now unfortunately they're gone. And it's surreal because, like, you're sitting there and we're like, okay, well, now we have to inventory everything we owned, which is going to be hilarious. To inventory stuff that we haven't thought about for years, right?
Right.
And Allison's like, well, I'll just get the MacBook and oh, wait a second, I don't have a MacBook anymore. And we're like, yeah, we don't have one. And
Yeah.
then like, oh, well, I'll do my I'll just set my radio show up. Oh, I can't because I don't have a microphone or a desk or a chair or floors or ceilings or walls or couches anymore. Like, you don't
Anything,
think about it.
anything. No, you
Right.
don't. You don't think about it until until you are like, what happened, right? I
Yeah.
mean, the people who go through hurricanes, tornadoes is an immediate. Some people lose that can happen, right?
Yeah.
And everything is just gone. But yeah, you really don't think about what you would. I mean, you can have everything you need to survive. You can have your canned food, you can have all your water, you can have everything there, but if the whole house burns down, it doesn't matter. You still got nothing.
Exactly. And that's incredible. Let's see here. My sister-in-law, this is Deb. She said, my sister-in-law's sister had their house blow up from a gas line 10 years ago. Poor little niece was burnt, but the rest of the family got out okay. They said it was a gas line explosion. We're convinced. Now, the fire inspector, and I found this out. This is pretty intriguing because I try to learn as much as I can from all these situations, and I'm sure I drive people crazy because I'm asking questions, right? That's how I process stuff. And
thus the name of the show, asking the questions that get you kicked out of places.
Talk about getting kicked. This, by the way, like this is the content in this Bible alone is show prep for years, but that'll get you kicked out of Bible studies.
That'll get you kicked out of most churches.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
So we asked the insurance company sent a fire inspector, and then the fire department also did their independent fire inspection as well. And it was a cause and origin inspection is what they did. You probably know about this, Erica. I learned about this stuff. I knew they would do an inspection or an investigation to try to find out what happened. And we wanted answers, but we couldn't get them. And they came to us, and so the way they determine what happens in a fire is they rule things out. So, like, let's say there's a space heater. So they dig through the rubble, they find the space heater, and then they look at the cord. If the cord malfunctioned or if the cord shorted out, that cord would be burned through, and then that would be the cause of the fire. But if they find, let's say, and I'm just saying a space heater, if they find a space heater and the cord is intact-ish, then they're like, okay, well, it wasn't that. So that's ruled out. Well, maybe it was the toaster. So they check the toaster. If there's no evidence that the toaster exploded or something happened there, then they rule that out. That's not the cause. And they kind of rule things out, and what they're left with, that's what determines the cause of the fire. The damage at the house was so extensive. The insurance adjuster said he does this every day, and he's done it for 29 years. He's never seen a house this bad, or it's one of the worst he's ever seen. The fire inspector from the insurance company was like, I can't find anything because the damage is so extensive. We can't even rule anything out. And the fire chief said the same thing, the assistant fire chief. So when they do that, it's undetermined. So, what's the cause? It's undetermined. They can't speculate, I'm sure, because if they were to say, oh, well, we think we don't have a cause, we can't figure it out, but we think it could have been the gas line. Well, then if we go to the gas company to sue them, we're like, well, the insurance guy or the fire chief, they could get their butts sued for that. So they just keep their mouth closed, right? And so you can't get anything out of them. But we've had people look at the footage of the video. We've had people with experience with this say there was an accelerant that had to be gas, because there's with this quickly and rapidly. I mean, the refrigerator in the kitchen was a stainless steel refrigerator. It is literally, the doors are melted away. The contents is charred and melted. I mean, the things that the fire does, I mean, obviously it's really, really hot, if y'all didn't know that.
Yeah, that kind of heat too is not every fire, right? Like, you don't have that kind of heat in a fire that that even an oven fire that burns down the kitchen.
Aaron, we know that it was Al Qaeda. Okay, we know that's what it was. Did they fly model planes into the south side of the house, or what? You know, I'm kidding. I'm being funny.
Listen, we can get you your stuff replaced, but if you keep going with this and you J6 yourself into some gulag somewhere, we're not going to be able to get you out.
Oh man, J6 myself. You know what? It's awesome. Very possible. It's very possible.
We need to come up with a new shirt. Don't J6 yourself.
Don't J6 me.
Don't J6 me,
bro.
That's freaking awesome.
Don't J6 me. Let's see here.
So Aaron, does fire melt? Does fire melt metal now? I mean, are we there?
No, it doesn't melt steel beams because they still have those.
Okay,
just house,
checking.
Bryan. And that's the thing, you know, wooden walls and fire. And that's another thing about this, man. Like, we were able to get in the house. They released it to us, and we were able to get in the house. And I'm thinking, like, okay, well, maybe I could dig through and find some stuff. When you walked into the house, were you able to get in? You were walking across pulverized drywall, insulation, ash, wood. There were places where you were literally standing 8 to 12 inches higher. Like, you were walking over piles of ash that used to be your belongings. That used to be like, your cabinets. Now they're gone, or they used to be your chair, or they used to be, your desk. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. The amount of material that was there, and the water. There were some beams in there that were perfectly pristine. Some of the 2x4s in the frame, because when they blast it with the water, like, you don't think about this, the water from the fire hoses destroys everything. It knocks drywall off the walls. It just like leaves it as a frame.
Yeah, imagine something. A fire hose at full power can rip your skin off.
Oh my gosh!
It can rip your skin off. So imagine that. It's true.
Timmy says those flat Earth fires are the worst.
Oh God! Get us all in trouble. It's no joke. Like, a fire hose. There's a reason why it takes 9 people to hold it. You can't just it's gonna destroy stuff. Yes.
Rodney Evans said, we lost about everything in 77 flood in Eastern Kentucky. Oh yeah, that was a tragedy. There was also a one in 97 too, 97 or 98. I think it was 97 that hit the south part of Kentucky. Because you think about it, like it is like any kind of disaster and you lose your stuff. It is traumatizing. Like, my house used to be there. Now my house is no longer there. Or, I mean, it's absolutely insane to think about it. And to consider that. J May says she appreciates us sharing. Is so sorry for the loss. Will keep us keep all in our prayers. Thank you so much for that. And that's just, I mean, it's incredible the amount of people that are praying, the amount of people that are keeping up with that. Let's see what other stuff we have here.
I'm assuming there's an inside joke there because Angela Dietz says the baker's racks are still standing.
Oh yeah, there was a baker's rack that that has been there forever. But yeah. Let's see. We got there. It wasn't a gas stove. We didn't have. It was electric. Deb. So the let's see, methane. Yeah, it could have been methane, or my meth lab. It could have been that too. Let's see. And Timmy was not chemtrailing that day, which was good because I'm sure
that's good. Yeah.
That all was still there too.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, and of course we can continue to talk about this, but we can also talk about other stuff. So if y'all want to join the program, you can click on the mic at the bottom right-hand corner. Just go to breakdradio.com, click on the mic in the bottom right-hand corner, and we can talk about this and more.
Today would be a great day for you guys that are supporting the show to do sound offs and just to encourage Aaron and his family because, again, I know you guys have had an awesome outpouring of support. And the Breakdown family has been fantastic, but be a good day to hear everybody, on the air. Say hi.
Yeah, here we go. This is Allison just sent this to me. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna pop this up real quick. Is that okay? That's a full screen.
Oh my!
That's an aerial view of the house. All right, so over here.
Well, apparently, fire doesn't burn the wood beams either.
Well, that's what we were talking about. Like all of those wood beams that are clean and exposed like that. That's where the fire hoses. That's where they were trying to.
Oh, the fire hoses. There's video flooring and stuff. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, they have that one thing. I don't know what it's called, but it's like where they have. Well, it's the ladder, but they've got this ladder that goes up with this like water gun, like this massive water gun.
Yeah.
And they were up here. They were outside up here. Like this is the outside would be the street. This is the front entrance right here. They had it, and they were shooting into these rooms here. This room, and this is Michaela's room. This is Bree's room. This down here, this was an open ceiling, so it was like a 17 foot ceiling. And then this, if you can see this angle right here, this board right there, this space here was the steps right there, and then this was the entrance into Bree's room. And there's a big hole there. So when I stepped across there to get into her room to try to recover some things, I stepped, obviously not in the hole, but I stepped in certain places and I could hear water and I could hear debris falling into the onto the floor below. And that's how I knew not to step there, because there was a hole.
Yeah, that would be bad.
But
Aaron fell down the hole.
Yeah, so this was the living room here. This is the chimney right there. So you would have been, this is the front of the house. The large window that was there is gone. This is after it was boarded up too. We had them go back and board them up. My father-in-law's room is over here, and this is the back of the house. This was like his ensuite and such to his bedroom over here. This section would have been his bedroom. And then the hallway here, our bathroom, or the upstairs bathroom was over here. And but yeah, that's just that just shows you a little bit of the devastation. And then if you all are still interested in seeing pictures, we've got them galore. My Allison is a picture. Thank goodness she is a picture junkie, because she has all of this stuff documented. This is a picture standing in the kitchen looking through to the living room.
Oh dear.
So here's the refrigerator. There's the refrigerator right there. This is a stainless steel refrigerator right there. There were cabinets up here. This over here was a floor to ceiling bookshelf cabinet. This was the bay window, and the table was right over here in this area. But yeah, there was a couch over here. There was a 70 or 82-inch TV on this wall with a surround sound system. This is a wall of windows, but the back room was off this area here. You can see the neighbor's house, but the back room over here is where the fire originated. We believe it was a gas leak that met with a space heater that kicked on, and the arc caused the explosion. Because it wasn't like, there's a lot of times when you see in these movies where it explodes and like all the windows blow out and the house roof blows off. It's usually like a rolling fire as that stuff ignites throughout all of the house. And it was just so devastatingly quick.
Aaron, we had one, Audrey asked, do they think they're going to try to rebuild the house, or what do you think is going to happen there?
No, it's a total structural loss.
So they'll have to tear it all completely down and clean the property off.
Yeah, it's already scheduled. Yeah, it's already scheduled.
And it's 85-inch, man. Come on, don't cut the man short. Actually, Steve, just so you know, for insurance, just so you know, for insurance purposes, it was 127-inch TV. Okay, I got it. I was there. That thing was huge.
Right?
Yeah, 85-inch. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. We got to make sure that's on the record. I was trying to remember.
I do just want to say before we move on, because I tried to ask Bryan about this week, and I noticed that Val just said something in the Facebook chat about it. So there are people that have reached out to me that want to know if you know what was in your library. Of course you know, but if you could tell us some of what there are people that are asking if we can try to help replace. And I know those things are really hard, especially the books. But if there is something that isn't like a one of a kind, if you wouldn't mind passing that along to me, there were people that were asking about that.
That is incredible. That's absolutely incredible. And you have no idea how much that means that people would think about something like that, because it's comforting. They used to joke, the girls in Allison used to joke, because we had bookshelves that were lining the wall at our old place. And I would just walk through the house and I would just pick up a book. And it's just a random book or whatever book I was feeling. I would just read a few pages, and they would always make a joke. Oh, we lost Dad at his bookshelf. And because I would just be, they were comforting to know, hey, that was like I was like an education hoarder, an information hoarder. And the first thing I ordered when everything was devastated, I ordered a theology book, and then I ordered a study Bible. And I was just like, I got to have that at least, because I had lost all my Bibles. And it was incredible. So, yeah, thank you so much for even thinking about that. And I feel awkward doing it, but if you all want me to, I'll send you some books I'm missing.
Yeah, if there are people out there that want to do something specific like that, it would be helpful if you could tell us which ones maybe were really.
I had a first edition Gutenberg Bible. I know that. Anybody can replace that one. That would be
that one should be on your insurance policy, my friend.
Guys, and it's funny that we're talking about this and we're kind of laughing and having a good time. But this just reminds me personally of something that I want to do myself. I was told years ago when I was a young lad to walk through your house with a video camera or a cell phone and just take pictures and video of what is in your house. If nothing else, just for, jogging your own memory, because I know I've got a fireproof safe in my house here in Paducah, and there's stuff in there that can never be replaced.
Right.
I have the prayer cloth that my dad was holding when he died. I have my mom and dad's wedding bands, and I have, things that probably don't have any intricate value to anybody else but me, but they could never be replaced. And so there's photos. We've got my mom, Aaron, you think your wife was a photo junkie. My mom had, the black and gold storage tubs. I think we stopped counting at 6 full of photos that are stuffed away up home somewhere. So, guys, think about this. And it's a simple thing. It'll take you a couple hours at most on a Saturday morning, walk through the house, take pictures, make some notes. Somebody mentioned cloud storage. I see that little scanner that Joe's got there sitting on his desk behind you. something like that, an $80 scanner, something like that. Some of those photos are never going to be ever possibly replaced ever again. And if you are a prepper, like some of us Christian wackanut J6ers are, don't keep all of your resources in one location. If you've got the dry storage food, if you've got ammo, I know nobody here is a gun nut like we are, but if you have ammo, if you have guns, guys, spread it out, because if something like this happens, you've lost everything. I've got a rifle that my dad left me. It was my grandpa's rifle, and I think it's probably 80 years old now, and it may have had all of 12 or 13 rounds put through it in its entire existence.
Wow.
It's a 30-06. It's a deer rifle, but it would be devastating if I lost something like that, because it was my grandpa's. It was my dad. I never met my grandpa, so it was my dad's. And so little simple things. I mean, I got junk all over this house that I could care less what happens to it. If I have to leave the house in a hurry, there's a handful of stuff I'm going to grab that's important to me. But if something like this happens, you guys need to make a plan. And it's easy for everybody to make jokes about it. It's easy for people to say things about it, but it's something very simple to do. And you need to do that. You need to do that.
And people who've watched the show know that we went through a lot of stuff at this house over the past probably 18 months. With a lot of things. There were a lot of remodeling, a lot of structural issues, not structural, but we had to have carpet replaced because my father-in-law had almost perished. And then in October of 2022, then my mother-in-law did pass in November of 2022. And then a water line burst on Christmas Day at 2:30 in the morning in 2022. So there was contract work being done. The kitchen had to be gutted. All this stuff had to be replaced, downstairs drywall ripped out, repainted, new carpet throughout all the houses, everything. So Allison did like a picture documentation of all of this. She's got so many photos of this. And the blessing of that is now she can sit down with those photos and be like, oh, we had that. Oh, we had this, we had this, we had this. I mean, she's literally got pictures of rooms.
That is incredibly, this is so colloquial, but that's incredibly important if you're not the person that updates your homeowner's policy annually.
Right. Yeah.
Because they will only do what they have on the last time you updated the policy. So unless you have pictures like that to prove that those things were there, you will probably not be happy. Just saying.
Just through you're absolutely right. Just through the process of the remodel and all the not remodel, but all the repairs and contracting work, Allison has 1,400 pictures.
Yeah.
And let's see. Timmy says, I have pictures of me as a young, handsome, gorgeous guy that I locked up in my fire
Those
safes.
are lies.
Without them, I can't place on my profile pictures
False
to snag
news.
dates.
False news.
Those are lies. I have there's
news.
a photo of Timmy with an afro, if anyone wants that.
Oh yes, we want
that.
Hey,
I have an afro. I had an afro once.
No, you did not. Don't lie. What, at birth? Or are you talking about on your chin?
No,
I think he's talking about just his back.
Afro. I've shared that picture with you guys before.
I come on the show today. Bryan pops into to Restream, and he's wearing a tank top.
Oh, I missed this.
And at first, I thought he was wearing a sweater. Either that, or he's being hugged by a family of sloths. I couldn't figure it out. No, he was like wearing a wife beater.
After I say all these kind things to you on the air, and
Bryan, don't feel bad. We call my son Junior Squatch, like Sasquatch, and we also call him like my uncle calls him the human sweater vest because
the human sweater vest. Yeah, I've been accused of smuggling a Wookiee under my shirt, so I mean, there's that, So
smuggling a Wookiee. Ladies, can't you just see it?
Oh my goodness!
What
a catch!
I've got the white tank top right here. If you all
No, do not whip out the wife beater on camera. We're not doing that.
Oh my goodness! So Bryan loses a few pounds, and now he thinks he's Fabio.
Now
ripping off his shirt.
now,
He's like,
now he's doing the New Kids on the Block.
Yeah, poor Wookie. Thanks, Curtis. Appreciate that.
You know what it's going to be like? It's going to be like the character on Austin Powers, Fat Bastard, after he loses all that weight.
Yep.
Be like.
It's funny. Timmy says, OMG, Photoshop is gonna love this new picture of Bryan. Oh, great.
Oh well,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
I mean, what did you think was gonna happen?
And let the memes start.
Oh man, yeah. So yeah, that all of that is Audrey says, I work with the Wookiee. Now I'll think of Bryan every time I see a Wookiee.
And I am honored, Audrey, because the Wookiee is probably one of my favorite characters in the whole series.
My daughters also they inherited I inherited it from my mom, and they inherited it from me. They're book nuts and junkies too. They lost all their books. Like we had just Bree and I think had gone to Barnes and Noble. She bought like 10 books in January. She read most of them in a week, and then they're all gone now. But they loved they were just
I know you feel like I know you don't feel like you want to do stuff like that, but that's something that I mean, buying a book, I mean that's not hard, and given that it was something that you guys were all really into, if we kind of knew just a little bit, that would be good.
Yeah, I will. I'll let y'all know because I don't want to, because at this time there's so many people they want to do stuff, and like somebody will ask, well, what do you need? And I don't want to be a smart aleck. I mean, but literally everything.
Right.
I mean, when it first started, we were just like, and
I mean,
I'm not
look,
trying to be a smart aleck either.
A lot of stuff. A lot of us are waiting for there's going to be the what do you need right now? Clothing, like those kind of like things right now. Can you go to work? Like, can the girls go to school? Does she have uniforms? That kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But then down the road, I can see us having a really fun time helping you redecorate your new house. Being like, okay, guys, now's the time for all the fun stuff. Like that.
Ooh, Curtis made a good suggestion there, Aaron. Amazon wish lists. That way they get the right sizes and stuff like that. If people want to help, that's a great idea. That's a great idea, Curtis. Thank you.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea.
And it helps you not. It helps you not get. People want to help, right? At this point, so it's not
people
like
want to help.
It's not like you're out there. I know you have a pride.
You're a pillar of the community, Jack. You're just a pillar of the community.
But the wish list will, if you did Amazon or something like that, would help you not get like 10 of the same exact thing, right? Because once somebody takes it out, it's kind of like a registry.
Now, really,
once somebody does it, it's gone.
Oh, that I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll talk to the family about doing that, and get Steve and Allison, Michaela, Bree, everybody kind of involved in that, and let them throw out a wish list there for stuff that they need. I did. I thought this was pretty cool. Like my clippers, Allison usually cuts my hair. My clippers got burned up. We had those clippers for probably 15 years. They were Wahl, WAHL. I'm not spelling that if somebody buys them, but my father-in-law's the woman who's cut his hair for I think 15 years or more. She was like, hey, just whatever you need. And Allison was like, well, Aaron needs a haircut. I did. I looked like a wildebeest.
Aaron needs a haircut.
And she was like, and I went over there, and she cut my hair and trimmed my beard, shampooed me, all that, and didn't charge me a dime. It was just like little things like that. And I say little thing, but it's huge. I mean, like the difference you feel when you had a haircut, it's like, okay, I feel a little bit normal now, so
it doesn't take a lot to feel human when you've had a tragedy.
Yeah, it really does. And the people that showed up, my brother showed up, and my aunt and uncle showed up. My aunt and uncle didn't hesitate. They were like, you can stay with us. My brother and sister-in-law, my brother was there, and they had, he was out. The neighbor across the street allowed us to go to their house. They're directly across the street, and they invited us in out of the cold, to just be warm and get some water. And we were like, had a front row seat watching the house just burn and fall. My brother came in a little bit later and was like, "Hey, so they found Ginger, and he said I'll take care of her if you'd like." He said I can take her out to my property and bury her there. And he's got about 20 acres out in the country, and it's just a real quiet, serene place that he goes to reflect and pray. And he was like, I'll take care of Ginger for you. And I was like, well, if you could do that, man, that'd be amazing. And so he did that. I mean, just stuff like that, man, that we couldn't even think to process. And
right.
But
Timmy says that just because we're all really nice people, don't turn into a pyromaniac, Aaron.
I mean, everybody's been so nice. I mean, I'm just like looking for other places to torch. Like they're like, hey, this is a nice house. Let's buy it and burn it down. You know.
Let me ask you a question, and this is not trying to take the spotlight away from you and your family, but how is Steve holding up? I mean, he's been in that house for years. I mean, how's he holding up?
Well, he's one of the most incredible men I've ever met. He is one of the most even-keeled people that I've ever known. Like he does not have outbursts of anger. He doesn't lose his cool. He's always thinking, always analyzing, always like he's playing chess all the time in his head. So he's always, he's like the Heisenberg. He's several steps ahead of everybody. I'm sitting there like across the street from the house, and I'm in a catatonic state, and he's down in Florida and filing insurance claims on this, like while the house is still burning. And he was like, all right, so this is going to happen. And he just called me, and he was like, here's this, here's some things that I need you to do. And we were just like, all right, boots on the ground. We started doing them. And he's been kind of quarterbacking everything that's been going on, and, giving us instructions. I need to have a pod. We need to have this cleaned out. We need to have the gas line, the electric, the water disconnected so they can destroy it. He's just always right there. He did comment in the comments. He said, I'm doing okay, taking one day at a time. And, but he really is just like, he's the rock, and
I will say that's my job. That's my job in the family. Like, I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it in a little bit. Right now, we need this, and this, and this, and then because I need that to happen before I can break down. I need to know that things are like going in the right direction before I lose my shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's the alpha position, and I mean, I from what I've ever, as long as I've known Steve, that's one thing that I can honestly say is I can see that. I know your dad and Aaron is the same way, and I know when it comes to your family, you're the same way. But I think that's pretty awesome. So, but I know I can't even imagine the devastation. I know what you guys are facing, but I mean that was his house, and I can't imagine what that would look like. So, just thought we'd throw that out there. So,
and for Allison and her whole family too, right? Like her sister, and everybody. That's where they grew up. So, that's a extra hard. Yeah.
So, they're pretty incredible people.
Steve Gibson says I couldn't be that stable.
You'd be surprised, Steve, what you can do when you're put in the position and you don't necessarily have a choice. Sometimes
you probably would
surprised.
be surprised. Yeah.
All right. So so I'm going to do this real quick. I'm 2.5 Mountain Dew in right now. So I'm gonna let you all talk amongst yourselves, and you can only imagine what I'm about to do. So I'm gonna go put out some fires in the bathroom.
Whoa. So, guys, that is our illustrious leader, Mr. Aaron Barker. As you can tell, he seems to be holding up pretty well. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you for
you guys have been incredible.
Yes, you have. And I want to thank all the partners that we have been working with, Rusty and the Off Track crew. That was pretty awesome when they had us on, and it's amazing everybody that's reached out and everybody that's tried their best to been supportive to Aaron. And I even told Aaron this week, I said, dude, I've been kind of backing off. I'll send you a text every now and then, but I know Aaron is a very, very, very private person. And so, he's not going to discuss what's going on. And so I called his dad, because his dad is like me. His dad likes to talk, and his dad is like me and Aaron, and I guess Erica at some point in time. But loves to talk. And so I was sharing with Joe, and he's like, Aaron's just really, he's on that edge. He seems to have it together, but when he starts talking, he's ready to break down. So
Yeah.
I kept my distance and was just kind of chatting with him on our show chats and stuff like that. And but each
I
and
was
every
getting
time,
updates through you.
well, yeah, because
Right? Like, I was just getting updates
and
through Bryan.
nobody really knew anything. And
Right.
so
And that's
it was,
okay. You have
it's
to
perfectly okay. Yes,
you
yes,
have to respect how people choose
sure,
to
sure.
be in that situation. You can't be like, "Oh, you got it." You just have to make sure they know you're there.
Well, and Allison said that our family is overwhelmingly humbled by the outpouring of love and support. And I'm gonna tell you guys, when we're sitting here talking, and the Facebook chat's blowing up and the Rumble chat's blowing up, and everything is, we're talking about all this stuff. It's there's so many people. I've seen people comment on the show page that I've never seen live on the show. So, Aaron, in case you didn't know, the lives that you're reaching and the people that you're touching goes far beyond what we can see, and the ones that are actually brave enough to interact with us on
Yeah.
Saturday morning. So, which is a big deal. It just speaks to what we're doing, and so thank you again.
I just want to keep going, man. Just want to keep going. That's
So does your dad know that you raided his dew stash, or is this news to him?
I don't know, but like my mom, I was here last week. She's like, "You want to take it back?" He's got like so my father. So Steve did this too. I think Steve's got like 30 some cases of Diet Coke. That there was like a buy one get 3 free at Kroger.
Right.
And so he bought, like, he just like accumulated a bunch of them. Well, they were in the garage. They all made it through the fire.
Well, praise God.
And,
there you go.
Yeah. But my dad had gone and bought like 15 cases of Mountain Dew. So my mom was trying to pawn them off on me. And I'm like, well, I got to start eating right and better. And then I'm over here like guzzling. I probably just have to take this home. I'm going to have an empty box by the time I get done.
How will you not? I would be jumping out of my skin after a 12-pack of Mountain Dew.
You
After
lightweight.
two, I would be jumping out of and I could drink coffee all day long, but Mountain Dew is another story.
Okay, you guys help me in the chat real quick. Is it an old person thing that like you start craving coffee at night?
No.
Seriously, I like I'm sitting here reading my Bible at night, and all of a sudden I'm like, I think I need coffee.
It's not an old person thing. It's a wisdom thing. It takes a certain amount of time for you to understand that drinking coffee at night with a certain amount of caffeine or a certain roast actually helps you process and makes you more regular. And you learn that over time.
Oh, I've learned about regularity with coffee. Trust me. I can tell you right now.
You know what makes you an old person?
Oh,
talking about how regular you are with other people. That's what makes you an old person.
I'm just going to say this, okay?
I'll tell you what, the last time I've had my steady stool, I haven't pooped a good J-turd in a couple days. Let me
I'm going to say this. So everybody knows I had the gastric sleeve done. I know we talked about it a little bit. So my stomach is literally about that big right now. It's about, they said it's about the size of a very like small, or like a golf ball. Yeah. No. More like this big. Yeah, there you go. I got it first. Anyways, it's about the size of a golf ball, maybe a little bit bigger. And so I come home after the first day after the after the surgery, and they said, you need these pain pills. And I'm like, yeah, pain pills never do anything to me. No big deal, whatever. And so I thought, okay, I'll take one and see what happens, and I'm gonna go lay down. Holy crap. I took I think it was an Oxy, I think. And oh dear God, within like 5 minutes, I was seeing triple of everything. I could not hardly walk through the house. Apparently the size of your stomach makes a difference in how fast things work. And so I did not know this either, but that apparently it's the same thing with coffee. I drink a cup of coffee, and I'm lucky if I can make it to the bathroom. It is horrible. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm like, what the frack, man?
So
I guess while you're all donating to Aaron and his actual need, please send Depends to the pastor.
Do not send Depends to the pastor. I am not having mistakes like that. Thank you very much.
People are watching you up there preaching like, wow, the pastor's really getting into this, but no, you're holding one in. You're trying not to shard on stage while you're preaching. You're like, oh, Lord,
that face does not equal inspiration.
No. We're not going to be. No, it's,
that's exactly what it's going to be like. You're going to be up there. You're going to be like, oh, come on, cheeks, hold together. Come on, cheeks. That's the fastest sermon Bryan ever preached.
Don't fail me now. Don't fail me now.
Bryan runs down the aisle out of the church at the end.
Woo, hallelujah! Everybody go think the Spirit hit. I'm
Bryan
running
runs
the
to
aisle.
the bathroom and revival breaks out in West Paducah, Kentucky.
It's like the squirrel went to church, but it was the turd went to church or something. You know?
The squirts went to church. Here's 3 things that I think you all should know about 1689 Cigars, by the way. When you purchase from 1689cigars.com, you help provide jobs for folks in Nicaragua who would otherwise have a difficult time providing for their families and be reduced to handouts. And you know how much Americans hate handouts. Every time you enjoy products from 1689cigars.com, you support Reformed church planters in Nicaragua. And 1689cigars.com is owned and operated by bivocational pastors here in the U.S. who, with Pastor Charles Spurgeon, intend to smoke a good cigar to the glory of God before they go to bed tonight. 1689cigars.com is honored to partner with Reformed Cigars by selling all of the blends and sizes available from their line. Whether your palate prefers a full-bodied Maduro, a mild Connecticut, or somewhere in between, 1689 Cigars has a blend for you. While you go to 1689 Cigars to buy some wonderful smokes, purchase a beautiful poster-sized print from cigar band artist Clay Hall, who was in the chat earlier. He has skillfully replicated the historic stained glass window from Spurgeon Pastors College in a stunning mosaic of cigar bands. And don't forget to check out 1689cigar.com's great t-shirts, stickers, glasses, and more. And since they're always adding new products, be sure to check back regularly. That's 1689cigars.com, 1689cigars.com. That's 1689cigars.com. Smoke to the glory of God. And you know what, Erica? There's another way that can help us here at the Breakdown. What way is that?
That way would be to go to breakdradio.com and click on the drop down, go to Break D Outfitters and order some of our cool gear. I've got the sweatshirt on. Some colors have better print than this one, but it is the most comfortable thing in the world. Go for your tin can hat or your tinfoil hat. I don't like the flat bill. People, don't make me remind you of that.
Well, Erica, you don't have to worry about my flat bill anymore because it burned up.
Oh, well, I'm not going to replace that because I know you won't bend the bill properly. So somebody else can get on that train. But all of it's good. I mean, I get that we have coffee cups and stuff too, don't we? Or am I just imagining that
we have that kind? We have coffee cups. We have.
It's not just gear. So, it's not just shirts. You have other items. So make sure you check it all out. Get some Break D radio gear and show your support for the show.
And just so everybody knows, I was going to buy a shirt, but I don't know what size I'm going to need, so we're not going to buy one right away. But I do have the tinfoil hat. It is probably one of the most comfortable ball caps that I wear. I'm not a big ball cap guy. Most of the time, I wear a flat cap, which I wish we could do something with that. But still, either way, the stuff is really good. It's high quality stuff. Everybody that has seen it has loved it. You guys have got to go out and check it out.
That is true. It really is. But I just want to say right now, so everyone in the chat, you can all hear me. If Bryan starts wanting like the men's fitted t-shirts, like those kind of things, we're going to have a talk about metrosexual dressing and Break D outfitter gear. Okay. That's just going to happen because I'm not going to be down for the, we're wearing what are we promoting here, Pastor?
Yeah, well, all I was told, just so you guys know, all I was told was that I was going to be wearing a Speedo on the lake this summer.
No,
so,
I don't know who told you that.
Yeah, well, we're not going to go into that. It's not important.
You could be Momoa, and you shouldn't have on a Speedo. Okay,
it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I will have photographic evidence of it. It's going to happen. It's
Oh, dear God. I hope you have all also heard that, because if you guys want, get with me in the back. We can't really gamble on air, but we could talk about whether or not that happens. I'll run the odds by the end of the day. I'll let you know.
That sounds more like a threat, Brian. That doesn't sound like a goal. That sounds like a threat. Like,
Right?
oh, you'll see me in a Speedo.
You'll
Oh,
see
you're
me
gonna
in a
see
Speedo, right?
Hey,
Yeah, you just
J-May
wait.
says this is not OTS. OTS.
Right.
Leave the poop talk for them. That reminds me, Aaron. I was talking to one of my friends this week. We were talking about the breakdown and stuff like that, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious because I remember when before Erica came along and I was in Northern Kentucky and Aaron and I were still trying to develop the breakdown, and we had a Christian syndicate come on, and one of the best skits, not even a skit, one of the best segments I think we've ever done, completely off the cuff, was one evening. I was late from work. He was late from work. We had to be on the air really fast. Neither one of us had supper. I picked up 2 little bags of Haribo gummy bears from Walgreens as I was grabbing some medication on the way out. And so we're getting ready for the show, and I'm like, "Hey, you want to try some of these gummy bears?" He's like, "Dude, we'll do it on the air. That'd be cool. That'd be funny." And we started this diatribe of Haribo gummy bears. And he kept thinking that I was trying to, make a joke of it, or that I was trying to, like really do some kind of practical prank or something like that. And he goes out to Amazon.com, and the sugar-free gummy bear reviews are epic.
Yeah, you can't. No, don't do sugar-free gummy bears.
No, that's what I'm saying. But the reviews, it's like they've got full, like, real authors writing these epic reviews of sugar-free gummy bears. I mean, they included phrases like Mount Vesuvius style eruptions, and
yes, that is literally an office trick known all over the country, as far as I know.
It is hilarious. So anyways, after all of this goes, and we had this fantastic like back and forth between me and Aaron, we were both cracking up. It was one of the best segments. I've still got the segment somewhere, but it was one of the best segments ever on the breakdown. And I remember the email coming from the lady from the Christian Syndicate, and she's like, we don't do potty humor on Christian radio. And I'm like maybe that's why Christian radio sucks. So I don't know that we get to Christian radio from the breakdown, but I'm going to tell you right now, oh my gosh, that was so fun. I remember those. That was good times, Aaron.
Yeah, it was great. So let's see here. Who wants to talk about The View?
Oh yeah. I mean, why not? We should at least talk about The View.
This is a medical doctor, by the way, just so you all know, medical doctor, The View co-host, Sunny Hostin, who I think she was a lawyer. She's an attorney. She sparred with the ABC News medical correspondent, Dr. Jennifer Ashton, on Friday over the sensitive topics of pregnancy and miscarriages and what constitutes a baby in the eyes of some mothers versus the scientific community. So here is what the exchange was on the show. So this woman here on the left, she's the doctor, quoting fingers. The one on the right is Sunny Hostin. Here is their exchange. Oh no, it's doing an ad. Hold on, we don't care about Daniel and Eileen. Just a minute.
Well, at least it's not Brian, Daniel and Sam.
God made Adam and Eve.
I mean, while you're trying to pull that up, I will say I still don't even understand the debate over this in a world where you can go to jail for harming an elephant fetus or a dolphin fetus. Like, you could go to jail for harming a fetus of any other kind of animal on the planet, except somehow human babies aren't babies.
I'll do one better than that. It
doesn't make any sense to me.
In Western Kentucky, I did not know. First of all, I didn't realize that Kentucky actually had bald eagles, but apparently they flock down here like pigeons. And if you find a bald eagle feather in your yard, you have to call a game warden to come and pick it up because you're not allowed to touch it.
Like a dead one or a live one?
A feather.
Just a feather.
Oh, a feather?
Yeah,
I'm not calling nobody. I'm picking up a bald eagle feather.
If you're in possession of a feather, a bald eagle feather, you're talking $20,000 fine.
Okay, can I please come down there and have fun with that case? Like, that'll be hilarious. I have some friends who are lawyers that would do that just for fun.
Yeah, I know, right?
Here we go.
Volume, brother.
What?
There's no volume to it.
No, hold on just a second. There's volume.
Yeah, but it's really, really, really soft.
We can't hear it. How about that?
You can't. Okay, here, hold on just a second. Let me see what I can do here.
Maybe check the volume in the browser.
It's all the way up.
Okay, just double checking.
This is not good now. Hold on a second.
Bryan asked the question. Did you turn it off and turn it back on again?
Hey.
Okay, hold on just a
you
moment.
left. I tell you what, man, it's amazing. I just want to tell you that the idiots and the jerks that are in our chats doing these spam, that's just sad. You have to get on somebody else's show to spam. Just go away. Jim Caviezel did this. Jim Caviezel did that. Go away. Go get your own show.
Why isn't that giving
Where's our moderator?
We don't have a moderator that I'm aware of.
I know.
It's okay, Rusty. You haven't missed much. It's only like, an hour and a half into the show.
Yeah, we're only almost done.
It's almost lunchtime. Just hang around. We'll get a sandwich. What?
God. Way to be late.
Love you, Rusty.
He's so mad now. We'll all hear about that later.
Okay, here's what we got to do. Okay, I can see what I got to do. Hold on just a second. Okay.
Yeah, we do need a mod. I'll see if we can't figure that out, Audrey.
Yep.
I think Audrey's like volunteering.
Is she? Audrey has lots of mod duties.
Second.
Okay, here we go. I think I might have it. Oh no.
Are you sure?
I might have it. It's coming. It's coming up real quick now.
Oh gosh. I mean, just tell me when it's going to start. But has anyone? Bryan tried to do the British accent. Now I'm going to say it. Has anyone seen all this drama going on with the death of the Rothschild family head, and Kate Middleton hasn't been seen since Christmas, and Camilla has left the royal family, and has anyone seen Pippa lady, whatever, her ex-boyfriend lady, whoever's husband is dead, found dead.
Huh?
Have you seen all this drama going on over there?
I don't pay
attention. And the king has pancreatic cancer.
I did see that. We were actually going to talk about that.
I saw that the Rothschild died.
Yeah, I didn't know about the Rothschild thing.
The Rothschild died, and then you have the king announcing that he has cancer, and they're saying that he announced he had cancer to distract attention from the fact that they think
facts
that,
and science and what you or any patient, any woman, any couple
they think
believes.
That what, Erica?
They and
playing. It was playing. We were listening to it.
Oh, it was? Can you hear that?
Yeah.
It's not even playing over here.
It was
playing. No, the video's not playing, but we can
hear the
video
isn't, but the sound was.
What is going on with this today? Like, seriously, I couldn't even see the video playing or this. I couldn't even hear the sound.
Okay, so there's all this speculation about how the king announced that he had pancreatic cancer to distract attention on the same day that they secretly moved the Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton, out of that facility after what they're calling abdominal surgery, and she hasn't been seen physically since Christmas. There's talk about this third party in her and William's marriage and all this distraction. Then the Rothschild dies. Then you have Pippa, who is Kate Middleton's sister, right? Her ex-boyfriend, who then married Lady something and became part of the royal family, was found dead. All this stuff and Camilla has left the royal family. She has resigned her royal duties and has left the king. It's very strange.
How horrible would it be?
Wait, so Camilla isn't Camilla the wife of
King Charles?
The guy the King Charles. He's got the one that's got cancer. No way.
Yeah, it's all very.
How horrible would it be to be the guy that waited like 80 years to become king, and then all of a sudden you get prostate cancer and die 2 years into the gig?
Well, I mean, you had to know he felt that way the whole time. I mean, the old bag held on way too long.
The old bag. That's horrible.
All right, let's check this out. Let's see if I finally got this working over here. Let me go ahead and do this, and then I will hit play.
Have you miscarried just a bunch of cells, or have you? But the other thing is, let's say you have a miscarriage at 2 months. Mm-hmm. Have you miscarried just a bunch of cells, or have you miscarried a baby?
It's definitely not a baby. That's an incorrect term, and it's also not a fetus. It is.
But a woman feel when some women feel that way,
that's
right?
Where we have to distinguish between medicine and facts and science and what you or any patient, any woman, any couple believes. Right. And we can't try to make them the same thing.
Uh-huh.
So it's definitely not a baby, she says. You have a miscarriage at 2 months. It's definitely not a baby.
What is it?
It's not even a fetus. It's just a clump
You
of
just took a
cells.
shit? I'm sorry. Like, what? That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And I go back to what I said before. How can it be that if I harm a pregnant elephant, I'm going to go to jail for an extra 40 years because there was an infant elephant involved? Or like, you can't just take a white tiger cub out of the wild without being punished for the rest of your life for it. Except now this isn't humans somehow aren't even humans. I don't even.
They're not. And here's the other question I have about that too, because of the life that's inside of a mother and what the Bible talks about when it discusses life and what's inside of a woman. If a person were to come to them and say, "Well, I feel like I aborted a baby," and they say, "No, we have to distinguish between science and feeling and fact and fake."
Look,
right? But if that person comes to them and says, "I'm a man, but I feel like I'm a woman, and I want to cut off my penis and have a fake Gina put in," and they would be like, "Absolutely, let's do that because that's the way you feel."
Right.
Like, hold on just a second. Am I going based on feelings or am I going based on science? Because I'm not really sure. You're kind of sending me mixed signals.
Yeah,
here.
just a little bit. And I also, why it's in order to make people feel better about having an abortion. And I am not judging anyone who has made any. I can't decide for you or tell you why or under what circumstances your decision was made. So can I please just say in advance, I am not criticizing anyone who has ever had to make the choice or felt they had to make the choice to have an abortion. Okay. However,
right.
Saying it's not a baby in order to make it easier for the individual or for a group or for society to deal with is just lies. Like, decision aside, you can't change what it is that you are doing or what it is that you have done or or the decision that you made by calling it something that it's not, just to make people feel better about it. That's not okay. That's not okay. It is what it is.
Exactly. They're here in the Bible, Jeremiah chapter 1, starting in verse 4. It says, "Then the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations." And this is pretty obvious that God, from the time that the Jeremiah was a clump of cells, or a non-baby or a non-fetus, God said, "Before I formed you in the belly of your mother, I knew you." So if God knows this person before they're formed in the belly of their mother, the womb, this says belly, but we know it's the womb, before they were formed in the womb, that means that there's a personhood ascribed. It's not just, "I knew you were a clump of cells, I knew what you would become." I knew you. Then he said, "I sanctified you." So before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. So it's not just a clump of cells; it's a personhood ascribed with a purpose. Like you're going to be a prophet to the nations. You're going to be sanctified and set apart for me.
Layman question.
And the thing that people
hold on just a second, Bryan.
Okay,
hold on just a second, Bryan. What was that?
Layman
Erica?
question.
Yeah, what's up?
Am I understanding correctly? That's basically saying that your soul is there before your consciousness, before you already have a soul. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I understand correctly.
It's
like that's basically saying that your soul is separate from your brain is not you. Your consciousness is not your brain. So you don't have to have a fully formed frontal lobe to be in existence in the eyes of God. There is more to that. Correct.
God has already chosen you. He's already formed you in the womb. There were 6 men that were actually set apart from the womb to God from the Bible: Samson, Samuel, Jeremiah, John the Baptist, of course, Jesus Christ, and Paul. They were all set. Now, they're not special as far as God is not a respecter of persons. Now, they were special in that God chose them for specific purposes, and Jesus, of course, was God in human flesh, God in human form that was shoved into human flesh. But every person is a distinct and individual person that is ascribed personhood from God, given a soul at conception when the seed of a man meets the egg of a woman. And it is valuable life that exists there. And that is a scriptural, excuse me, that is a scriptural tenet and a scriptural, scripturally provable point.
Well, I think the other thing you got to remember too, and I love, I think I don't know which one, I don't know who this is that said it, but the View and the people that are on the View are perfect examples of this slippery slope generation that says, I'm going to change definitions, I'm going to change everything about what has stood for time in memorial to make me as a person feel better. And so it's not about whether or not I'm a boy that wants to be a girl, or a girl that wants to be a boy, or a kid that wants to be a cat, or a senior adult who wants to be a child. It's I can do all these things because it's my feelings, and you have to Aaron, there was a thing I shared, and I wish I could find it real quick, but there was a video, or there was a statement that I shared from a senator, and I really think this is this is in today's society, this is cancelable material. But he made a comment. He said, I'm just not going to play your game anymore. And I think what's happening is a lot of people in society today are tired of these enabled whiny butt millennials saying that, oh, that's the green, that's not green on the grass. That's like fuchsia. You need to change how you feel because it makes me feel bad when you say that's green. Well, you know what? Go ahead. Sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off.
Ahead.
But it's just it's just the whole idea of we have in our society today, when we have looked at all of the different things that are going on in our society, we have tried our best. We have tried our best to try to appease how people feel. And, me and a bunch of preachers were sitting around the other day and we were talking, and somebody said, well, because they were talking about the issue. And some of you all have heard that one of the Southern Baptist conventions have removed a church here in Paducah for hiring a female pastor. And the Southern Baptist Convention is very anti-female pastors. It's in their creeds. And so this church went ahead and did what they did. And I want to tell you right now, I love what these guys said. One of the ladies said, or one of the responses to this was, well, 2 Timothy is offensive to women. And I'll never forget, I made the comment, I said, look, the Bible in general is offensive to mankind in his fallen state. That's the purpose of God's word, is to correct us and to mold us to be more like Christ. So at some point in time, every part of Scripture is going to be offensive to the human condition. Go ahead, please go ahead.
No, you're correct. And if you're reading it right, it should be offensive to you because all of us are sinners, right?
Correct.
So you should be offended by it. But I also want to say something about what Sean said in the comments. He says, but you know that people that don't believe in God don't care what the Bible says. And that's absolutely true. But them not believing in it or caring what it says does not absolve them from their fate. Just because you don't believe
Sean,
in it doesn't mean it's not real.
I'm going to tell you something, Sean, and I wanted to use this line for years, and it was a perfect setup, so I'm just going to use it. People that don't believe in semi-trucks are still going to get hit by one if they step on the highway.
Oh, he's a truck driver too. That was perfect.
There's a thing. Well, but here's the thing. You have to understand God's truth is sovereign, and whether you choose to believe it or not, you're still going to be faced with the reality of it one day. And it's our job as Christians to, yes, share in a loving way as best we can, and to tell people the truth. And I think that's the thing. It doesn't really matter what you believe. In fact, part of the problem is that we've been worried about what everybody believes all the time. Not everybody that's why, and this is another pet peeve of a pastor, that's why I really dislike when people say, well, I don't have to go to church to be a Christian. No, you don't have to. But if you want to get a good Christian Orthodox view of God's word, you need to be among other believers who can help you and to knock the rough edges off of some of those. I mean, I've heard of some pretty crazy people who have stayed home and they've studied the word for themselves. And next thing you know, they're flat earthers and they're boxing up the freeze-dried food and the ammo in the back room. I'm kidding. It's a joke. But you guys know what I'm talking about. The whole point of it is that God put us together as a group of people. He said a body of believers. That is used multiple times in Scripture. And the whole point of that is that he is wanting us to come together and to read his word and to study his word together. And there's a reason for that, because any one of us by ourselves are subject to just going off the deep end in some direction that makes absolutely no sense to anybody except for our own twisted views. And a lot of times when you start talking about these things, like the people that think that they're changing genders, or the people who think that they're changing their age brackets or whatever, the fact of the matter is a lot of times there's a lot of isolation that's in that person's life before they find people who will help them with that delusion.
I just want to make sure that people are careful, right? Like, I'm not disagreeing with you that fellowship is a part of the directive of the Bible, that you should be experiencing and studying and listening to the word of God in the fellowship of other Christians. That is part of it, right?
Right.
That is part of the directive, but it's not infallible. If you have a bunch of people that you're in fellowship with and your pastor is crazy and they're not saying anything or they're not doing anything, that's as harmful as doing it on your own. So
well, again,
you have to be grounded somehow. I don't have answers to that.
The answer is very simple. It's very simple. It's not just your local church that's important. You have to get into Christian orthodoxy. Okay? You have to find a group of believers that's not just one local group, right? You don't want to go Westboro Baptist and think that that's the way the Bible reads. And there's a whole group of believers in that room or in that church that think like they do. And that's correct. And you're absolutely right, Steve. That is the part of iron sharpens iron, but you got to be careful what you're rubbing up against. You got to be careful what you're allowing to sharpen you, because there are some people out there that are just flat out wingnuts and they don't have any idea what Scripture actually says.
Right.
And so,
but sometimes the pastor or the priest or the bishop or whoever is the wingnut. And if you don't have the fellowship that you're talking about, you can't fight that on your own. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand completely.
You need the group sometimes in order to be able to right the ship.
Well, and I think it's important to understand that God never called us to be into denominations or, into, well, my church can't fellowship with your church and your church can't fellowship with my church. I love to fellowship with people of other faiths and other denominations, because what it does is it really starts to, it starts for me to make an inventory. One of the things I loved about Aaron, and he was talking earlier about his books causing harm and discomfort to people. Aaron, I still have your copy of Eternal Security laying on my
well, I bought that for you and gave that to you as a gift. You never read it. That's one of the books I lost.
But it has a personal message in it to me, so no, you're not getting it back.
No,
but,
I'm not asking. I bought it for you.
Anyway, I have it laying on my nightstand as a constant reminder. But I will say this:
you are eternally secure.
It was because of Aaron and Aaron getting off into different denominations that kind of helped me on my track of becoming more what I call a more well-rounded believer. Because always growing up in the same echo chamber, always growing up in the same denomination, hearing the same kind of preachers, hearing the same kind of sermons, it wasn't until I got out of that echo chamber that I started to learn much more about Scripture than I ever knew before. And started to read Scripture for Scripture purposes, started to read the Word for what the Word says, not in light of what my pastor or my denomination says, And
I
then
think what you're trying to say is that I'm pretty awesome. I think that's a roundabout way of saying I'm pretty awesome.
I think that's what we've said since the beginning.